This is a marital couple session with Bill and Leslie. Before I go into a session, I'd like to say a little bit about what to look for. As you may know, the solution-focused approach is very much into building solutions. We make a distinction between building solutions and problem solving. Because we have found over the years that problem solving activities are very different than problem solving, than solution building activities. That what one engages in solution building is very much about the future focus, that what they need to do differently in order to find the solutions. Also, that the second point I'd like to make is that there seems to be no connection between the presenting complaint and presenting problem and the solutions to them. And I believe that you will watch how this will manifest clinically. The third point is the therapist's posture is that of not knowing. Harry Gulushan and Harlan Anderson's term that is that therapist not knowing posture that takes, and that is the therapist is not the expert, but the client is the expert to their problems and to their solutions. And so the therapeutic task then is through the conversation how to figure out what they need to do in order to generate the solutions that is consistent with their vision of their ideas about what will be satisfactory life for them. Let me come back a little bit about the couple. Leslie and Bill have been married about 7 years, and they have 2 children, ages 5 and 3. Bill also has another child from the previous marriage, but he rarely sees this child, even though he makes child support payment. Bill is an attorney working for a large law firm, and Leslie is a consumer service director of consumer services for a large telephone company. And as you watch, I would like you to pay attention to how closely the therapist follows the client's ideas of what their solutions are. Nice to see both of you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. I understand, Bill, you are working where? What kind of job? What kind of work do you do?
I'm an attorney.
Uh-huh.
I do taxes primarily for corporations.
Do you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I understand that's where the big money is.
But we don't see any of it.
You don't see. You don't see.
I think in the next few years,
Yeah.
I'll be up to a fairly decent income. Right now, I'm trying to build a clientele.
Yeah, right.
He tries very hard. He sees so many people in terms of building up that clientele.
Yeah.
He's trying very hard.
Is it?
Mm.
Is he good? Is he good at what he's doing?
Well, you probably should ask some of the ladies that he sees so much. You know, I mean, those are his clients. Excuse me, those are his clients.
Yeah.
But he's out every evening, so I guess he must be good.
Uh-huh.
I'm in the stage of trying to develop a partnership. I'd like to be a partner in this firm.
Right.
So I spend a lot of hours with a lot of clients.
I
And a lot of them are women. A lot of women are in corporate America today.
Which is really our problem. It's part of our problem.
Right.
Because I know that you have to spend time at work. He spends an awful lot of time out the house, so that I have the primary responsibility for our children. My question and my concern is, and that's one reason that I wanted us to come here, so that maybe through talking he could come to understand that he has some responsibilities too.
Right.
And they don't
Right.
include spending evenings out talking to women who are not always your clients,
Okay.
Bill.
This
Okay.
is
Just hang on a minute. Let me come back to that. I'm going to come back to that. What about you, Leslie? What kind of work do you do?
I work too, and I have to
Uh-huh.
work, and I have to be out of the house a lot.
Sure.
I work for Central Telephone Communications,
Uh-huh.
and I'm the director of customer service there. And that,
Ooh,
needless to say,
Very busy.
requires a lot of time and
very
effort.
busy.
And plus, with our little children, and
I don't know how you do
Bill
it.
not
I don't know
being-
how you do that.
we're not doing it. That's exactly what's happening.
Uh-huh.
At least I'm doing the best that I can.
Right.
I work on the average of 70 hours a week, and
I work
you know,
close to that.
I'm sure you
Out
do.
of the house, and then
I'm
that
sure
doesn't
you
include
do.
the time in the house. I have
Right.
the primary responsibility of doing the housework, the shopping,
And
the
your
child
children are
care.
very small.
They're very
Very
small.
small, 5 and 3.
Right.
I'm sure they keep
Right
you
at
very
home.
busy.
Yes, and I actually take responsibility for Bill's son by his first marriage,
Uh-huh.
Bill Jr.
Yeah.
on occasion.
It's more than
not
a.
regularly. I mean,
When is the last time that you went to pick up Bill Jr. and took him back home?
Okay.
Or
let
make the
me come
arrangements?
back to that. I'm sure you have lots of issues. Sounds like you. How long have you been together?
7 years.
7 years. Uh-huh. Okay.
7 long
And,
years.
So it sounds like you both are feeling very frustrated about what's going on or what's not going on between
Well,
the two of
you know, I mean, she has zero understanding about what's going on. It makes it
Right.
very difficult.
See, that's
we
part
used
of the
to
problem.
communicate.
It's
now-
always me. I have the zero understanding. He understands it all.
Sure.
He understands it all. That's the problem.
Right.
You know,
Got it.
I don't think he is frustrated. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for me
Right.
making the appointment.
Right.
I think
Okay.
he's happy that it just goes on, and I just work myself
I'm
to a
frustrated,
frazzle.
but I think it's our responsibility.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, we should be able, as two adults, to sit down and talk about our problems. But
Well,
when
as
we
two
do,
adults,
it,
we
ought
it
to be
able to
goes
do
just
another
like this.
thing.
She just
Okay.
goes on and on and on, and I don't have an opportunity.
Let me come back to this. What do you suppose needs to happen as a result of you being here today so that you can say, sort of looking back at this time, oh, let's say 3 months from now, 6 months from now, when you look back at this period in your life, so you can say to yourselves, that was a good idea that we went and talked to Insoo. That was helpful. What
Well,
needs
I
to
would hope
happen?
that
needs to
Bill
happen?
could come up with some kind of understanding of what his responsibilities, and that in these sessions he could really hear what I am saying, because at home he
Okay.
really doesn't listen, and therefore he could change his behavior so that we could be as we were earlier in the marriage,
Really?
you know, listening to one another and communicating. But he
Right.
seems to have
That's
strayed
what
from
it-
that.
That's what we need.
What?
Communication.
Okay.
If we can come out of this with some ground level communication, I will think that it has been
Okay.
successful.
Okay.
But I mean, you know, we just have a
All
problem being able to talk
I understand.
together.
I
in the
talk.
same
You don't
room
even say
and
anything
hear
when I
each other.
talk
Okay.
anymore.
Hang on a minute. Now, let me come back to this. You mentioned Bill being more responsible.
Yes, I'd
Okay.
like to see more of that.
All right.
I appreciate him as a provider.
Right.
You know, I appreciate him as a husband. I do love him.
You do.
And I know he does work hard.
You do love him.
Yes, I do.
Ah.
I do.
Okay. So when he is more responsible, what will he be doing that he's not doing right now that will let you know he's being more responsible?
He will take responsibility more for our children. He will take more responsibility for his own son, whom I love very much too.
Okay.
He will take responsibility to include me and have respect for me. Include me in his activities and have respect for me. It hurts me
Okay.
to be out
Okay,
and
let
hear
me
my
come back to
girlfriends talk about his girlfriends that they see.
Okay. Let me come back to this. What will...
At 70 hours a week, you know, it's really difficult
Okay.
for
Let
me
me
to
come back
be-
to this. All right, hold on. I'm going to come back to you on that. What will Bill be doing exactly that will let you know that he is being responsible around the house with the children, with his son, and what will he be doing that he's not doing right now that will let you know?
Right now, I'm always reading the bedtime stories because he's out doing whatever. I'm
so
putting
he will
children
be doing
to bed.
some of those?
Yes, especially on the weekends when you don't have to carry the load that you carry during the week.
Okay.
I would like some help around the house.
Like
he thinks that I'm a
what?
built-in maid, it feels like.
What would he
I'm
be
doing
doing?
all the cleaning, I'm doing all the washing, I'm doing
Right.
all the ironing, and I'm doing all the cooking.
Right.
He doesn't. I
So
have
what
to
would
cook
he
for
be
the children.
doing?
He's never home.
What would he be doing?
He would
When
be
he's more
helping. He
helpful?
would be planning. He would be going
Look,
to the
we could
grocery
hire.
store.
We could hire somebody, but for some reason you don't
Bill,
want to do
how
that.
could we
You
hire
keep
someone?
saying
We
you
don't
want
have the
nobody
money.
around the kids.
We don't have the money, dear.
Okay,
Oh,
hang
We're
on a
spending
minute.
a large
How
portion
much would it cost?
in
How much would it
child
cost?
support for Bill
How much
Jr.
would it cost?
Okay, hang on a minute.
More than we
hang
have.
on a minute, Belle. Hang on a minute. Just a minute. I'm going to come back to you on that. So he will be reading bedtime stories.
Yes.
He will be doing what else?
He would be helping with the shopping. He would be
Okay.
helping with household duties, the
Like
cleanups.
what? You mean washing
shopping.
dishes?
Yes, he could help once in a while. Once in a while, you could help wash
Okay.
dishes.
I'm going to be frank.
Okay.
If I work 70 hours a week, I do not have time to wash dishes.
But I
okay?
have time
I'm
because
not
I
gonna
work
wash
50.
no dishes.
Plus, I have all the
That doesn't even make
responsibilities for the
sense.
children.
That doesn't look. That doesn't even make
Well,
sense.
we have
Okay.
a dishwasher.
Hang
It's
in a
not
minute.
that difficult. You could help.
Hang on a minute. Okay, you guys. Hang on a minute. Slow down a little bit because I need to know how I can be helpful to you. Okay? So I need to know from both of you what needs to happen so that I am helpful to both of you. So let me come back to this. What would it be doing different, let's say 3 months from now, 6 months down the road?
I think even though it's important that he is building the partnership, and I realize it takes time, and I try to be supportive, he also has to build a relationship at home. We have little ones.
So
They
what
don't
would he be
even know
doing?
you.
So what would he be doing
He-
to build a relationship at home?
He would be communicating more with me.
Okay.
He would be taking an active role with our children. Our children, he is just someone who comes in the morning and leaves. I mean, they don't even have a concept of who you are. And I think that's a shame.
Okay.
Well,
Now,
yeah,
let me come back to you, Bill, on this. I'm assuming you want to have this relationship with Leslie also?
yes, of course.
You do. You do.
Yes, I love her as well.
You do.
Yeah.
Does she know how much you love her?
Do I know?
She should.
She should.
I mean, you know.
Yeah? What do you think? What do you think? Does she
You know, we've been together for 7 years. I love her. I haven't left her. I wouldn't leave her. This is my wife. I love her. I love my children as well. The thing is,
Do you see? Do you see?
Well-
He has a wedding ring. I wear mine. He doesn't wear his. Doesn't wear it.
look, here's the thing.
So
I
what would you-
figured that my children are 3 and 5 years old.
Mhm.
So you don't
that
wear
I
your
can
wedding ring
put
because
in
of that?
these. Will you let me talk, please?
Go on.
I figured that they're 3 and 5 years old, that if I put in these hours now, when they are older and they'll be able to appreciate me more, that I will then have more time to spend with them. That's the principle that I'm operating under. I have an option here. Either I can stay at home and wash dishes, or I can spend 70 hours a week trying to build up this practice so that as an eventuality, you don't even have to work. And you don't seem to have any
wow.
You don't
patience
have to
or
work.
understanding
So
or
that's what you like to
cooperation to
have.
try to...
Uh-huh. So you really are working for the future.
Yes, absolutely.
And what
I'm
would it
trying to
take-
secure a future, not just for myself, but for all of us.
Right. Now, what can Leslie do to be helpful so that she understands
Well, if
how
it's
hard you're working?
if it's unbalanced right now,
Right.
if she needs to do more at home and I need to do more away from home, she needs to be able to understand that. You need to be able to work with me on this. Okay? I mean, we have a 7-year investment. As an eventuality, we're going to be together. So all I'm saying is she should be able to do most of the stuff at home.
Gotcha.
Okay? Let me work these. It's like I'm working 2 jobs right now.
Okay.
Let me work these 2 jobs,
I'm
and
working 3.
within
Okay.
a
Hang on
couple
minute.
years.
Okay. Let me ask, I'm going to ask both of you some very strange questions that will take some imagination on both of your parts. Do you
Okay.
both have a good imagination?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I try.
You try. Okay.
she does.
All
She
right.
does.
All right, here comes. Let's say, as a result of a miracle, you believe in miracles?
Known of a few.
Yes? Is that right? Yeah? Okay. So, as a result of that, the problem that brought you here today, gone. Just like that. Just solved. Just like that.
That would be a miracle.
That would be nice. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Okay? All right?
Yeah.
That would be nice. But this miracle happens to happen in the middle of the night when both of you are sleeping. Like tonight, for example. When you go to bed tonight, when you go home and go to bed tonight, this happens. So you don't know that this has happened. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, what will be the first small clue to you? Wow, something must have happened during the night. The problem is gone. How will you discover this?
I'll smile first thing in the morning instead of avoidance.
You will smile at Leslie.
He would put his arm around
He will
me.
put your arm, okay. He will put his
which,
arm around you,
It would
okay.
be a real sign of a miracle at this
Okay.
point.
All right, so suppose he does. What will you do in response to that? What would it
I won't turn my back to him.
Okay. Okay. Is that right? Is that what she would do? Would that be a miracle for you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be a miracle for you.
It would be very different.
That would be different. Okay.
Yeah, it would be a miracle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It would really be different than what's been going on as of late.
Okay. So when she turns her back towards you so she's facing you. When you smile at her, she'll face you instead of turning her back towards you. What will you do when you see her do that?
Oh, I suppose I'd embrace her. Probably.
Uh-huh. So you will give her a hug.
Yeah.
Huh. What about you, Leslie? What will you do when he gives you a hug?
Well, if he hugs me, I'll hug him back.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. What will come after that?
Well, Saturday?
A miracle.
That's true.
A miracle.
Okay, that's true. Okay. When was the most recent time when you had a morning like that? When would you say was the most recent time? Maybe not all of it, but just the pieces of that, parts of that sort of miracle picture.
Been a while.
Probably
It's
right
been a
after
while.
Evelyn was born.
Is that right?
That's almost
Well,
2 years, almost 3 years ago.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Really, I think
Yeah.
so.
Uh-huh.
Am I right? Can it be
well,
right sometimes?
I don't know if it's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
that.
Can it be,
Okay.
be right there? See?
You know,
Okay.
somewhere in that framework.
Okay,
I don't say it's
so,
been that long.
well, not all of it, but just the pieces of that.
It's been a couple of years.
It's been a couple of years.
But we've been
It's been a
avoiding.
while.
Yeah, we've been
in that.
avoiding. You know, he's out a lot. I take care of the kids. I bury myself in my job, but I'm not married to my job. You
Right.
know, I'm married to him.
Right.
And my job is important. My children are precious to me. But I want the whole thing. And I want
You
to
want
be-
every right. So
Right,
you
well,
want this relationship back.
Right. I know it won't always be, peaches and
Right.
cream, but
Right.
it's not supposed to be,
Yeah. So
Right,
she's
there
pretty
is
good.
whatever.
Okay. So let me come back to this tomorrow morning. What when the children see the two of you tomorrow morning, what would they see different about the two of you that would tell them, wow, something happened to mom and dad?
Wow.
I mean, if they could talk, I realize they're very young and they may not be able to have the right words for it.
Well,
But if they could talk,
Carl knows something is going on because he always asks me, why are you and Daddy always yelling at each other? You know, I tell him not to yell at his little sister.
yeah.
And I say, I haven't even told you this. And then he says to me, well, you know, you and Daddy are always yelling. Why do you always tell me not to yell? See, what do I say in situations like that?
So what would you notice different about the two of you tomorrow morning?
Some warmth.
Yeah, I don't think our kids have seen us embrace. They probably don't even remember it.
So he may see the two of you embracing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else? What else would he see?
Well, we would go somewhere together. So that would really be a miracle. You know, instead of me throwing
You mean
it-
the family of four?
All four of
all
us.
4 of you will go somewhere.
Right, someplace.
Okay.
And
Someplace
not,
fun?
someplace
Someplace
fun where we're
fun.
not just dropping them off on the way to work, you know.
Okay.
Just all of us being in the same space.
That would be a miracle for
And-
him.
That would be different.
That would be different for him. Okay.
Mhm. Not getting ready to go to the babysitters or daycare and not getting ready to go to bed. If we were
That would be different
yeah,
for
I
them.
mean, we don't, that's when we're all four
Yeah.
together.
It's really
And sometimes the kids are in
sounds
bed when
pretty
you get
hectic.
home.
Sounds like your life is pretty hectic.
Yeah, it is, but I still say, you know, I mean, it's not always going to be like this.
Of course not. I'm not sure this is realistic or not, but suppose you do. How would Leslie be different with you? What would she do different?
Well, I suppose, you know, I mean, she'd be warmer.
She'd
get
be
along.
warmer with you?
We'd get along better.
Okay.
You know, we would communicate better.
Okay, say some
probably.
more about this getting along. What would
You
go
know, I
on?
mean,
What would go on between the two of you?
the thing is that if we have to sacrifice one
Right.
for the other,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, we could, you know, I mean, if we just try to get along,
Right.
we could get along.
Right.
But if we have to get along at the cost of me suddenly, you know, not giving the time that I need to give to my job as an eventuality, it's going to affect us financially. And I'm trying to look out for our future. And I think that we have to invest some time in that
Gotcha.
in order to, you know, to make the
Gotcha.
whole thing work.
Gotcha.
There are some
And-
ways
and,
we
you know,
should
I
be
mean, I
investing
love-
and doing
I
our
love
money
our children.
differently.
I love our children and I
Gotcha.
love you, you know, but I'm trying to build something.
There are some
And I'm trying
ways
to
we
build
could
something.
be saving money and doing better financially that doesn't require you to be out of the house 70 hours a week and meeting with these female clients, clients in quotes. Okay,
Well,
I
you
mean
tell
that's
me-
an
you
issue
tell me what it
because if
is,
you were
then.
home every night
You
and
tell
you
me
worked
what it
10
is,
hours a
then.
week, if you were out
You tell
with
me what
these
it is.
clients all the time, we would still have a problem, and it's not
Okay, hang
just
on a minute.
that.
Hang on a minute. What has to come first? In order to do whatever you would like to see happen between the two of you, what might be the first small step that help you move toward that, what you'd like to see happen? Sounds like for
He
you,
could be honest.
what would it take, do you think, knowing Leslie as well as you do, what would it take for her to believe you, that you are being honest?
I don't know. What would it take? I mean, I'm willing to try.
Oh, you are?
What would it take?
It would help if you would call, if you would let me know about what time you're going to come home. I don't need to know every client that you're going to meet, but I would like to be included in your life in a way that I think is respectful.
That's what you really want, isn't it?
Okay,
You
I'll
want to
call.
be part of Bill's life.
I'll call. I can do that. That's
can
not
do that.
unreasonable.
Okay.
Okay, and sometimes I get caught up into the throes of business,
Yeah.
and I don't call.
I see.
Okay, but I can call that. I can do.
I
What
would
about,
also
what about for
appreciate.
you? What about for you, Leslie?
Mhm.
What can Bill do to be helpful so that you know that he is committed to this marriage as much as you are?
Well, I just said I would call. What would she do? Not what could I do. What could she do? Isn't that the question?
Okay.
I'm already doing as much and more than my share. That's the problem. That's why we're here.
Please look. I just said I'd call.
What can he do?
Leslie, I haven't been calling. Okay, I admit to that. I cop to that. I don't call regularly when I'm late. I just assume you know. I'll stop. I'll take the effort to call. Okay, to try to appease you.
Would that help? Do you think? How would that help?
You're going to do it because you think it's going to help, or is it just appeasement? Because then I'm going to hear it later in an argument. You got me calling in. Checking in.
Now so if that's
not sincere, don't even
she's
say
programming an argument that hasn't even happened.
Right.
Okay? Please don't do that.
Okay, now, let me come back to you, Leslie. What do you need so that you feel that Bill understand how hard you are working to make this marriage work, to make this family go? What do you need from Bill?
I need some support from Bill. I mean, I work more than 8 hours a day also, and then I come home. I mentioned that I needed him to take more responsibility with child care arrangements, everything, doctor's appointments, visits, shoes, clothes. Sure. I do that all. He doesn't even ask me any questions about how was the day with the kids. You come in, you say, how are the kids? If sometimes you're not even listening. You walk right by and say they've both been in a train wreck. You wouldn't even hear it.
So he's asking and being concerned. Sounds like that's what you want.
Well, you heard it. She just made an assumption that I don't hear. I mean, if I didn't want to know, I wouldn't ask.
Well, when you come in the house, common courtesy, you're going to ask how your kids are. But one day I think I'll try that.
No,
the kids have been in a train wreck. I'm going to see if you're here.
That's not common courtesy. These are my children.
I wouldn't come in the house. See, I'm a female. I wouldn't come in the house without asking how are the kids. I mean, I guess you just expect that to happen, from a female perspective. Okay, I know he loves the kids. I'm not accusing you of that. But you don't spend time with them.
You do know he loves
Darling, you do not spend time with them, and that's important.
The other thing I wanted to ask you, does Bill know how much you care about him? How much you love him? Do you think Bill knows?
Earlier in the marriage, we would tell each other.
No. We ain't talking about early in the marriage.
Well,
Let's talk about now.
Well, to be absolutely honest, I don't think he particularly finds me attractive, and I feel funny about that. I think that what's that saying is, sometimes I feel it's just he thinks it's cheaper to keep her. That's a saying. Ooh. I'm sorry, I do feel that way sometimes because you're not home. Wow. I have felt that you've had other romantic, sexual interests. Nothing's happening in our bed. So,
So you're very concerned about this. Sounds like you're very concerned about this.
It's not a marriage. We sort of like a roommate that we argue, and we happen to have some children together.
Wow.
And it's too inconvenient to move.
And you really want to change that?
It's going to have to change, or else I am going to be someplace else.
So and you don't want that. You don't want that. Okay, let me ask you another strange question. I have lots of these strange questions. Okay. Let's say on sort of a scale of 1 to 10, 10 stands for as things right now, and you know what you've been through. The two of you know what you've been through, and you know what the issue's been, and you know what the issues are better than I do right now. Let's say 10 stands for that you will do just about anything humanly possible to make this marriage work. That stands for 10. Okay, and a 1 stands for you're ready to sort of throw in a towel and you're ready to walk away from this. Where would you, each of you, say you're at on the scale of 1 to 10?
Honestly?
Honestly.
7.
7. How about for you?
Well, past year or so, I think I've been at a 10, quite frankly. But the way I'm feeling now, I'm probably, let's put it this way. I've talked to a lawyer. Mm-hmm. just to inquire about what my rights would be. I'm probably about a 5. I'm in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't want it to go to the 1, but
you
I
don't
can't
want to
keep,
be at 1.
No, but I feel like I'm pulling it alone.
Right. Okay.
I'm surprised you had a 7.
Okay. Now, I have another sort of a set of a numbers question here. Knowing how things are right now between the two of you, let's say 10 stands for you have every confidence that this marriage is going to survive. Okay? 10 stands for that this marriage has every chance of making it. And 1 stands for, it's just the opposite of that. There is no chance this marriage is going to make it. Where would you say things are at right now?
Well, if we worked at it, I could say it would be more than a 5.
Really? So you see a lot of potential in this?
Well, we do love each other. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I think we do.
You do?
I know I love him. I think he loves me.
Does he know? Does Bill know how much you love him?
He ought to.
He ought to.
Yeah.
You think he does?
Good. Nice. See, I shouldn't have told him about the lawyer thing. Now he's mad at me.
I'm not mad.
I didn't see one of your co-workers.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm just...
How about for you?
I'm just trying to...
Yeah, what would you say the chances of this marriage making it?
I would really say 8.
8?
Because, I want this to work. I'm willing to try to make it work. We have to find some kind of way to compromise, though. Because I'm just not, I didn't go through undergrad and law school and, carrying letters and all that, working in the mail, all that bullshit, just to now suddenly, chuck it all away. We can't just live off of your salary.
All away.
What would it take, do you think, for these chances, from your point of view, Leslie? What would it take for you to go from 5 to 6, so you can say it's just a little bit better? It's not perfect yet. It's not all the way up to 10, but it's just a little bit better. What has to happen between the two of you so that you can say that to yourself?
Well, he could call, like he said he would. And if
that would help.
Yeah, and if he could just make some effort, I would recognize it with trying to share some of the responsibilities. I know he has to work.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I don't know if I could feel...
So calling would help you a little bit.
I don't know. Maybe if he could hug me sometimes. I don't know.
If
he could hug me sometimes to make me feel like a wife.
Okay. That would help also.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what would that mean? What does that mean? How would that help? His hugging you and calling you, and I don't understand that. How would that be helpful for you?
Because for me, first of all, he doesn't believe it, but I do worry about him. It can be dangerous out here, and two, we could talk just about what his day has been like. I would know what time he was going to come home. Maybe I would sit up and we could have a late dinner together. But sometimes I sit up and I don't know what time he's. I just fall asleep and then he comes in and the next thing I know he's in the bed, but then he's asleep and.
So some more personal, private time together.
Right. The kids still go to bed relatively early, but then I'm just, doing some paperwork, or I end up watching TV alone.
All right. Now,
what time is coming in?
What about it that would be helpful for you? Having those kind of private times between the two of you. What would do?
We used to have those private times
before
the kids were born, and it was something I looked forward to. You know, I mean, he was working. He was, working then long hours, but that was our special time, and we talked. I mean, I knew people at his office before, not always personally, but because we talked about those things, and I talked about my problems at the job. I just talk to my mother now, about anything. She knows more about what's happening at the company than you. I mean, because you don't ask. You're not around.
Okay.
Let's leave your mother out of this.
Okay.
Okay.
He doesn't like my mother.
Right. Okay.
But that's who I have to talk about.
I didn't say that. I just said let's leave her out of this. She doesn't really have anything to do with this.
So,
part of the problem,
when you have this private time, talking about what his day's been like, what his work is like, and he also asks you about what your day's been like, and having this time without the children, and that would, how would that be helpful?
It was close. It was a kind of, your husband is your main confidant, and we would have that relationship, and then I remember times we would even go to bed and make love, and it would be nice. And it was beautiful. And that doesn't happen anymore either.
Right. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. Some special moments with Bill that you feel close to, and you feel like he's your confidant. And
Didn't you like those? I mean, I thought it was fun. I looked forward to it. I mean, no matter how bad the day was, I could look forward to at some point, over salad or whatever, maybe even a glass of wine. We would talk. We would have good times.
Suppose Leslie believes you that you are working when you're not home, that you're working. How would that be helpful for you to know that she believes you?
Well, I mean, believe it or not, this stuff bothers me as well.
Of course.
I can't go off and work knowing, and that's, that's some of why I just don't call. Because if I call, we're gonna get in an argument about when I'm coming, what am I doing, who am I with, and all of that. Third degree, and I'm trying to be in the middle of taking care of business, and I can't function like that.
Okay.
I can't take care of my business like that.
Suppose she believes. So she believes you that you are working and not with other women. How would that be helpful for you?
It would put my mind at ease. It would make it easier for me to take care of what I need to take care of. And some things that might take 2 meetings, I might be able to get done in 1.
I'm for that.
Okay.
I am.
Okay. All right. Okay. Great. So you're saying you're willing to at least try that?
I said try.
Right.
I mean, I just,
Is there something that Leslie can do to make it easy for that to happen?
Yeah.
What? What can she do to make it easy for that to happen?
I'm listening. I'm all ears. What can I do? I'll do it. Within reason.
Just be understanding.
Okay. What does that mean?
Well,
what does that mean?
Don't pressure me.
Okay.
Don't pressure me.
Okay. Not pressure you. Okay.
And know that I'm trying.
Okay. Gotcha.
And know that I love you and I love our children.
Okay.
And that I'm really, really and truly trying. And I mean, it's difficult, and a lot of times I just don't have the time. But that
you're going to be able to make time. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm trying. I'm gonna try to make time. I'm gonna try to make time. I'm gonna try the best I can.
Okay.
But I have a vision, and you need to help me with this vision. And if the vision calls for you maybe to do a little more now, then I guarantee you'll do a little less later.
That was a very difficult session, and I'm sure this is a pretty typical kind of cases that you run into. And also, in a way, they both bring up some very important issues. That is sort of for Bill, his way of caring about his family is to be a good provider and to be successful. He kept saying, I am working for my family. I am working for all of us. And so his vision, he keeps also talking about this vision of his future is to be a good provider in such a way that Leslie can even stay home and not have to go to work. And so in some ways, I suppose one could say he has a very traditional view of marriage. At the same time, he recognizes that there needs to be some balance between the two. On the other hand, Leslie's issue has to do with more here and now, the family relationship now, the more time spent with the children, watching, helping her out, doing things together, more intimate moments that they used to share in an early period of their life. And so what she wants and he wants, they both are related to relationships, but comes from a very different angle. So what they need to do is somehow not see this as an either-or situation, but think of this as a both and. And obviously, clients don't see that, and that's what gets them stuck, is when they stick to seeing things from either-or point of view rather than both and. So our job, or my job, is to help them somehow figure out how to see, how they could see themselves working cooperatively together. And I certainly believe that they need both. There's visions of the future as well as also what needs to happen right now. And so what I'm going to do next is I will invite the couple back into the room, and there will be three components to what I would say. The first one is some sense of acknowledging, validating their point of view, and also the task, some sort of bridging statement that leads to the suggestion that we're going to offer. And since the couple are so other-focused, that is, Leslie is very concerned about what Bill is not doing, and also Bill is very concerned about what Leslie is not doing, and therefore the task will be designed to watch each other, but from different point of view than they have done in the past. That is, they have been very focused on what the other person is not doing. And so this time we will suggest to them about what the other person is doing to help the marriage. I had to think long and hard, and I really have to tell you that I think that your calling to set up this appointment was a really good time, really good timing, because you don't want to make things worse. You don't want things to get any worse than it already has been. And sounds like you are very concerned about what's not happening between the two of you. And I think that you wanted to do something about that. And I really am very impressed, Bill, that you responded to Leslie's initiating this meeting, and your willingness to take time from your very busy schedule. And obviously this relationship is very important to you.
Yes.
And that's why you are here, to do something about this. And what occurred to me is that both of you really care about this relationship, about this marriage a great deal, but both in a very different way. Okay, let me sort of explain to you about this. Bill, your way of caring about this relationship is to have this vision of the future, how you want things to be. That is, I guess you're sort of accustomed to sacrificing a lot for the future, and that's how you still see it, that in order to have a better future, even to the point of maybe Leslie staying home one of these days. That's what you're talking about. That the financially that you could become comfortable enough, you could earn enough money so that she could stay home. And so you have this vision of the future, how you want things to be. And so that's how you care about this relationship. On the other hand, Leslie, your way of caring about this relationship is to paying attention to now. When the children are young, you want the two of you to do more things with the children. You want to share this experience of raising children together. You want to stay close and have more intimate moments, and somehow trying to make it, I mean, sort of like have it all, right? And that's how you are, you care about this relationship. So there's, really, there's no question in my mind that both of you care about each other in a very different way. Very different way. And oftentimes that gets misunderstood. And I think that both of you need both ways. Okay? Any relationship needs both. That is, you have to pay attention to here now as well as the future. Okay? You need to do both. And it's like Bill said, it's a matter of a balance. How to balance here and now and also worrying about the future. And so I think that you two have a very good start because you already are there thinking about right now as well as the future. Okay? So the next task for the two of you, next job for the two of you is to figure out how to sort of fit two of your concerns together to make it fit better. I don't think it's either your way or your way. It's the blending of the two. That somehow how to make a balance. In order to do that, both of you have to work together to strike this balance. Okay? And I really like the way that you want to get started on this. You really, you have some ideas already. You have lots of ideas about how to get started on that. Okay? Like having this, sort of stealing this few moments here and there, without the children. And that certainly would help. So what I would like to suggest to you between now and next time we get together is for each of you to keep track of what the other person is doing. For you to keep track of what Bill does and for you to keep track of what Leslie does to make things a little bit better. Little bit better for the marriage. And it's important for you to not to discuss it, but just keep track of that. Just observe and keep track of that. And when we come back together, we will discuss it more, the details of that. But I want you to sort of observe it, file it away, and then when we get together, we'll talk about that. Okay?